Okay, so we're back Tech Training Tuesday. Today we're going to go through marketing referral profiles and then smart plans. So before we jump into that material, I'm just going to point out some of the resources we have around in general just to help. One of the first ones that you always want to go to is KW Answers. So if you answers.kw.com, you can always put in just a general topic. So like smart plans today. There's a bunch of articles all about it. And if you always look for like getting started with or, create a or something like that, it'll give you just a run through of all the parts of command, in this case, just the smart plan, but they're all really well written like this. Some have little mini videos, some have more proper videos. They're labeled with numbers and everything. So if you're ever just looking for a reminder, or if you're stuck, go into KW Answers and put in the topic. It'll kind of help you figure out the different parts of it. And then there's always articles on the left that can kind of dial into something more specific if you're having trouble with something like that. So let's close that up. And we've also got kwcentral.com. Go ahead and turn up the audio levels in here real quick. So this is our Market Center website, kwcentral.com. There's a bunch of resources here. So all of the resources that I talked about yesterday before we got started, I usually post or usually here. So if you go to agent resources and tech support and training, you'll find my little corner of the website and you will find a bunch of resources. So KW Answers, if you want to know where the locations are, and another link to the website where you already are, just because our YouTube channel, the different logos, all that stuff is here. And if you ever want to make an appointment with me, you can just schedule here. Links up to my calendar so I can't get double booked. I get a little notification, so it's another way to get some of my time. And there's plenty of other resources to look through here that I went through at the beginning of yesterday's recording. So I'll move on today so we don't eat up all the time. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me and we can figure you out. All right, so we are at agent.kw.com, signing in. Just a reminder that my homepage might look different from yours because all homepages are customizable. I have this little Command MC that you're not going to have. That's for staff. So don't worry about any of that stuff if it looks a little different from yours. And today we're going to begin with the two profiles. So if you've ever had a tech appointment with me, we've sat down and we'll talk about this. But they're important to know, and a lot of updates to information happen here. So if you name, phone number, email address, all that stuff. So we're going to go to the referral profile first. So you click your name in the top right, click settings. And then from here, you'll click, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong profile. Let's back that up. I'm going to click your name. We're going to go to profile first. I was going to the marketing profile first. This is the referral profile. So your name, click profile. This is where you'll find yourself. This is the profile sort of page that people will see if they use the referrals function in command to look for another agent. So this is an agent to agent, communication kind of a thing. So the bio that you'll see here should be agent facing as opposed to potential client facing. This is what someone will read if they're, in Texas and they want to find a referral partner, out here in Burlington. They're going to do a search and they're going to find all these pages. So that bio should speak to that situation as opposed to speaking to a potential client. So make sure that you get to this and update it with that in mind. Click your edit profile button and fill out your bio. You can expand it here so it's a little easier, and just fill it out with that in mind. Make sure your content is what people call evergreen content, something that doesn't go stale. So you're going to want to make sure you say, for example, this example I always give is don't say I've been an agent for 5 years, because next year that's out of date. So you say I've been an agent since, and then you put the dates, and then that never goes bad. So keep that in mind when you're doing your writing, so you don't have to worry about coming back and making sure things haven't gone stale. You can add in all of your social profiles here if you've got them, or don't fill them out and they won't show up. And make sure your referral network is opted in here, this little green toggle, so that people will find you when they're using that search function. And then any of these other toggles that you feel is boast-worthy, you can turn on, whatever you want to be known for. Make sure you click that Save Changes button in the bottom right corner so everything takes. And the last little bit of information I have here is these service area boxes. You can add new and add new and add new. Make sure you're using a new box for every location. I see a lot of profiles come in that have like comma and then place and then comma and place. And then I feel like that this location that I've highlighted technically doesn't exist. There's no town called Burlington, place. So instead of saying Burlington, Hillsborough, Mebane, put them all in their separate boxes. And I feel like that makes things a little bit smoother. You can add a box for a reason, so that's why we do it. And then save your changes, and you'll notice all the updates all around here. Your service area should all have their own pin if you've done it right. You can change any of these pictures right here if you want to. I think this top banner is just like kind of a cool cityscape thing. It looks pretty neat. The bio that comes preloaded says something like, why choose me as your agent, KW, and it's a preloaded bio that everybody starts with. It's not a bad bio, but everyone will recognize that that's the preloaded bio. So I would recommend changing your bio to anything else at all, just so that people know that you put in a little bit of effort into your profile. Right, so that's the referral profile. And I'm going to move on to the marketing profile unless there's any questions. So let's go, if you click your name and then go where I was headed the first time, you click settings. And that's going to take us into the area of command where we check and see if everything's connected that we checked yesterday. Check for DocuSign, check that command mail is connected, anything else, Facebook. Mine is taking a little bit of time, which is great when you're teaching. There we go. Okay, so here we are. So once you find your way here, you'll click Connect Settings, and you'll find Marketing Profile. This profile is all of the things that preload out to the other parts of, like the command website and the consumer app and anything else that would come preloaded with your information on it. So your picture here and everything. Let's see if I can find my website. Everybody has an agent site, whether you know about it or not. It comes preloaded when you get your command logins. And it comes sort of already kind of basically organized, pardon me. And a lot of what it draws from is going to be that marketing profile that we just looked at. So when that loads up, you'll see things like my picture, my phone number, my email address, the different logos where they are. Those would all change depending on how I changed my marketing profile. So here we go. So you can change this background picture. This is the top page of your website. You can change what this says and then what these logos are and everything, but the orientation and the fact that this page exists and what this page does cannot be changed. This is your search function. It's the top page of everybody's website, and it's a really good search function. So it's just something to know about. So if you're ever just looking for a search function on the fly, it's a great place to go. It's pretty, it's smooth, it's easy to use. So it's a good thing for potential clients to use too, because it's user friendly. That's not why we're here. Let's go back. So, yeah. All right, we'll get rid of that then. What you're going to see is on the different parts of this website. Man, the internet is just crawling in here today. There's a good example. I mean, you must be playing some kind of an intense video game or something. You're using all the bandwidth. But my name and my picture and this little KW here and up here, this all comes from the profile. So there's the little red KW, there's my picture, and there's the KW Central, and you'll recognize all those here, and anywhere else on the website that would preload. So I've since sort of sorted out what changes and what doesn't when you change your marketing profile. And anything that you would load up one time and save will kind of take a snapshot of whatever's in your marketing profile. So when you're making a web page, when we're talking about websites on Friday, when you create a new page and you use a widget, quote unquote, when you load up that widget, which is what we're looking at right here, this little mini part, this is the, I think it's the About Me widget. It'll load up with a little snapshot. And if I change my marketing profile after I've made this page, this won't update, this little gray square and everything in it. I have to go back to that page and update it, wipe it, bring in a new widget. And then when I bring in that new widget, it'll take that little snapshot and everything will update. But you would have to go and change that yourself. But the stuff down here is outside the widget. This is on every page that you navigate to. This stuff will update as you change your marketing profile. because it's always taking sort of a live feed. So best practice is go through all of this stuff, make sure it's exactly how you want it, put in a picture somewhere in those spaces, and I'll show you why. This little red KW here, if you don't have a picture there, you're going to have like a little white bite out of the bottom corner of your picture, and it's kind of, it's not really attractive. So put something there just so that you have a place filler, just basic KW or anything like that. If you have any trouble with that at all, you can reach out to me. You send me a picture, I'll send it back to you in the right format. It's really not super difficult. I can knock it out in a minute or two, but look for these pixels here. And if you join me on the designs version of this class, which I think is tomorrow, we're going to talk about how can you create a picture in the right pixel dimensions so that it fits the different templates you're going to find around Command if you're doing postcards or if you're using the pixels here or anywhere else. It's we can figure that out.
Okay.
So put all that stuff here. Oh, what's up, Christy?
Oh, I was just saying, okay, good.
Oh, good. Do you need any help getting some pictures put in place or anything?
No, I think I can figure that. I'm pretty good at. It's just getting everything set up.
Okay, yeah. And this part's it's pretty much just fill in the blanks. The pictures here are pretty easy because they're square. So you can usually get them to look pretty good and they kind of center up. It's if you get into things like postcards, it can get a little bit challenging because there's 3 different standards of it and they all have their own pixel thing. And I think they list them in by height by width. So if you're using a program, it asks for you by width by height. So you have to make sure you're not getting things crisscross and stuff like that. So we'll talk all about that stuff tomorrow for sure. Last note here, the bio, this is the bio that preloads everywhere. So whatever you have written here, like I said, every time you bring in some new something, what you'll see first is whatever's in this box when that thing was loaded up. So your widget will take a snapshot of whatever's in this box at that moment. It's best practice to put in potential client-facing stuff in this box because most of the time when you're drawing from your marketing profile, it's going to be for the eyes of a potential client, not necessarily an agent in that one instance that we talked about in the other profile. So it's worth your time to change that one to agent facing, but not this one should stay client facing. So make sure your language reflects that situation. And then where is it? Down here, legal footer text. Make sure you at least have this statement in your legal footer text. If you're on a team, you might have something fancier or something, with more explanation. Obviously, make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. But if you don't have anything there at all, you don't plan to, make sure you put in at least that much. And if you want to know more about that stuff, you can always get in touch with Teresa, our broker in charge, and she can, I'm sure, help you understand why we do those things. Again, social profile stuff, any of that stuff that you want to put in here. So those are the 2 profiles. I'm going to move on to SmartPlans now, which probably is a more interesting topic. So we'll open up the red box and go to SmartPlans. SmartPlans, if anybody's not familiar with it, is sort of an automated set of activities that you can pre-program. They're not necessarily all reaching out to a contact. Some of them can be a reminder for yourself. Some of them can be a reminder to make a call. So we're going to go through that. You can kind of set sort of a plan that helps you interact with a contact in the way that you think is the most perfect version of interacting with a contact. It keeps you on track. So the way I like to explain it is if you have only one person on your contacts list, and that's the only person you had to concern yourself with, you would know in your head the perfect way to interact with that person, how many times you should talk to them, send them an email or a text or whatever it's going to be, the right amount, that you're not like calling them every minute or every hour, maybe once a week, once a month, depends on what kind of a person it is. But in your head, that when you're speaking and you're interacting with people that you have a way of doing that that's different from everybody else's. So it needs to sound like you, and you know how you want to treat that person. The problem is you're going to have 300, 400, 500 people on your contacts list, and you need to treat all of those people the same way you would treat that one person. So you can create this smart plan that you think is the perfect way to interact with one person so that when you put 300 people on it, they're all getting that reach out, that personal touch, the way that you speak, the way that you think you should talk to that person in that perfect manner that you think is the best. So it keeps you, quote unquote, acting perfectly. So kind of keep that in mind when you're building these. Don't get caught up in the robotic motions of it, how many times you're reaching out to them or any of that stuff. Make sure it sounds like you and that you're using this very powerful tool so that you're actually keeping in touch with people that you've already introduced yourself to. So let's get started. We're going to bring in our own smart plan first so I can describe all the moving parts, and then we'll go into the library and what the different published plans can do for us. So let's see if I can come up with a plan name that's unique, because I never delete my old ones. You can see I've had my birthday 2 and then my birthday 3 and all that stuff. So here we go. Another new one. Apply. Cool. All right, so we're looking at a blank slate smart plan right now. So if we were to bring in one from the library, all of this stuff would be filled out and you could kind of customize it to make it sound like you and begin to use it. But to kind of describe all the moving parts, we're going to start here. So you can always change the name up here. After you've done it, you have to have a name in order to save it. And then we have this thing that says you can pick a trigger, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but you can't add a trigger to a smart plan until you've satisfied these conditions, because it automatically puts people onto a smart plan. So it's asking you to have at least a basic functioning smart plan before you put a trigger on it, so you don't accidentally put 300 people on a smart plan that's not complete. So that's why that condition is there. So let's start with, all right, this is going to be for someone I just met, new person or new persons. So you might want to say to yourself, all right, I just met this person, I just got their information, I want to reach out to them. What sounds like me? Maybe I would send them a text. So we'll click that in. And then you have to put in a delay between all of your steps. So you put that in, and then you can put in a maximum of 369 days, which is an update. It used to be only 90 days. So now you can actually have sort of a yearly 365, day rotation if you wanted to do something like that. Okay, so you'd say, all right, I'm gonna send them a text one day, and then I'm gonna give them a break. I'm gonna give them, let's give them like a week or something like that. And then I think it would be nice to send them an email. And then we'll have to put in a delay. And I would say, okay, let's give them more time then. So send them an email. Let's give them, 14 days. Then I want to remind myself to give this person a phone call. And then you got some options. We're going to go through all the different steps here. We're going to go to delay again, create a task, delay. You can add to another smart plan. And another cool detail about that is you can send delay and add them to another smart plan. So you can use one smart plan to add people to multiple other smart plans. And it took me a second to kind of internalize like why that was cool. I was actually talking to our regional tech trainer about this. So I thought you could only end a smart plan with add to smart plan. That's not the case. You can end a smart plan with restart smart plan so that it goes back to the top. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But in this case, where you've got a smart plan that's like an intro plan, you got, okay, I just got this person's information and I want to have this like welcoming smart plan, like, hi, my name is, this is what we do, this is what's going on, this is the different things. You're wonderful, I'm wonderful, let's go buy some houses. And then at the end of that smart plan, you can add them to the birthday smart plan and then set a delay, and then add them to the home anniversary smart plan and then set a delay, and then add them to the neighborhood nurture smart plan. And so that it sort of like eases them in to these other smart plans that repeat. So you have this welcome smart plan that reaches out to other ones that keep repeating, all in a proper way so that you're not overwhelming this person with a bunch of emails and stuff. It takes a little thought. But if you can structure it that way, you have this one welcome smart plan that automatically puts people in other smart plans. So why another reason that's cool is if you make this welcome smart plan and it has a contact trigger that says, let's see if it'll let me save it. It probably won't. Yeah, I got to complete all the fields. Let's delete some of this stuff and let's see if it lets me know. Nope. Required. Some words. Some more words. Some more words. All right, let's see if it'll let me save here. Nope. So smart plans are definitely going to make you fill in the blanks, because again, it doesn't want you to have a smart plan that doesn't work, or someone's going to be on this thing that's, going to give errors, or they'll get like an email and it's not quite right. You don't want to like embarrass yourself or confuse anybody. So that's where you're going to have to deal with all these different things. So I'm just going to remove a bunch of stuff so I can show you why I think this is neat. All right, let's say we're going to give this person an email. Here's the subject. And here's some text. See if it lets me save now. Save it. Cool. So add trigger events. So let's say this smart plan is as we set up. It's this welcome one. It reaches out to other smart plans. You can add a tag that you have or create one, I think. And let's say every time I put someone in my database that has a cat lover, I'm going to choose this trigger and I'm going to confirm it. Okay, so what this is saying now is it is not saying that everyone in my database that has that tag cat lover has been added to this plan. You have to do that yourself. So if you've got a bunch of cat lovers in your database, you can create the smart plan, add this tag trigger, and as soon as you're done, go to your contacts list, filter by cat lover, add them to the welcome plan, and then you're good. What this is saying is every time you add a contact to your contacts list and you put this tag on them, at that moment, they'll be automatically added to this plan. So it's a great way to kind of filter people into this process while only having to do one thing. So you set up this plan that filters to other plans. Someone enters your contacts list, you throw a cat lover tag on them, they're automatically added to this smart plan. They go through this welcoming thing, and then they're added to other plans that repeat. And now they're, just because you put someone's name and put a tag on them, they get welcomed in and they get sort of these touches on these other smart plans. After that, you can keep in touch with them. You don't really have to do a lot to do it. And as long as you have put the time into thinking about what do you sound like when you're interacting with one person, and it sounds like you and it's not robotic, you're not collaborating people with communication, you put that thought into it one time, this can really be a powerful way to kind of keep in touch with people without having to manage all of these different moving parts. So let's rewind here and talk about repeating smart plans. So right now we've got send email, set delay, and then I'll say text message because I want to talk about dynamic. And then we're going to do delay and then restart smart plan. All right, so right now, if someone enters my contacts list as a cat lover, they'll get an email from me that says subject text. It's not really creative, but that's what would happen. You can also go into designs. If you've got any email designs that you've already created, you can come in and pick from the different templates here. We're going to talk about this more tomorrow, but please notice that all of these are this aqua envelope with the @ symbol on it. These are templates that are specifically designed for emails. So if you're designing an email to go out in a campaign, you got to make sure you're using this template. We'll talk all about how to do that tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I'm going to highlight it like 5 or 6 times tomorrow. It'll save you some frustration. So there are 2 kinds of designs. There's email templates and everything else. So make sure you're using the proper one. You can, of course, create a design on a piece of paper like a PDF and put it into one of these templates, but you got to know that you need to do that. I won't spend too much more time on that right now, though. But if you had a design in an email template, you could bring that in. So if you wanted to send that out, that's a way to do it. Let's see where it takes me. Oh, it took me all the way out of my smart plan. Here we go. Edit smart plan. All right, so I've got this. It didn't save any of my things. So make sure you're clicking that save button. It's a great example why. So set delay, and we're going to go, I'm sorry, not restart yet. We wanted to do this text message because I want to talk about dynamic texting. So if you've got Twilio connected to Command, you can learn more about it here and click in and see all of the prices and everything. It'll tell you how to do it and what the different and how to set it up. If you have any trouble, come find me. It is worth noting that you have to purchase credits that you spend as you send out text messages. They spend them in the order that you purchase them. So it's friendly in the way that you're going to use the oldest ones first because they expire in a year. So if you bought some in January and then you bought some more in February and you send out a text, you're going to use the oldest ones that you bought in January first. So you have, the most shelf life on all of your credits. These are the different prices. And then I always forget how much each one costs, just to give you an idea of how far a credit goes. It's somewhere in here. I'm sure I'm staring right at it. Here it is. Set up a number. Oh, that's call forwarding. Available plans. Okay. One standard SMS regular text message is 1 credit. And then if it, I guess it grows. And a multimedia text is 3 credits. So if you're sending a pretty picture or something like that, it's gonna cost a couple of credits. So 1 to 3 credits is what's gonna cost for 1 text. You can get 300 credits for $3.16. So You can decide, the cost benefit on that. The cool thing about Twilio is that you can send this one message here, or the command using Twilio. And then if it repeats, every time it comes back around to this, it's going to send this one message again. Or you can set it to dynamic, where you can add up to 5 rotating messages. The cool thing about that is it kind of helps you, or 6, cool. So I'll say like 2 message, and so on. So every time it comes around on that repeat, it'll first, the first time through with the person who's put on the plan, they'll get that one. And then it'll go through the smart plan and repeat back to the top. And the next time the person comes through that smart plan, they'll get this message. And then again, and then and on and on. So you can vary up what you're saying in this text message so you don't sound so mechanical and robotic. So it's just a cool kind of feature on the texting. And restart smart plan again, we'll put people back on it. So if you've got a long plan or something like that, you can restart the flow that way. Let's talk about the tips and rules. It's worth going through these when you're making a plan. They are, I wish they would kind of just call them, I don't know what they call them, compliance and best practice. Best practice is a good word for it. I always say these are kind of like guardrails and double yellow lines. They shouldn't be in your way because, you shouldn't get upset at the guardrails and the double yellow lines because they're there to keep you from getting into traffic accidents and such. So these rules are sort of guidelines to make sure you're not reaching out to somebody too much or bothering somebody too much. And it helps you kind of stay within some basic guidelines to make sure you're not doing that. So definitely know these when you're starting a plan as you're getting familiar with it. Some of the more notable ones are every time you reach out to someone, you need to have a delay. And the text message one is, where is it? Okay, so this is straight from KW Answers. I'm just going to read this. Smart plan text messages are sent out within the window of 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. CST. If an agent attempts to start one at 8 p.m., although it appears that the text should send immediately, it will be held from being sent until the next day, somewhere between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. CST. Emails do not have a time restriction or sent out when the email is executed. So it's not going to let you send out a text message to someone in 2 in the morning or something like that. So if it's just something to keep in mind. Let's talk about smart plans from the library. How we doing, Chris? Are you keeping up with me? Okay. So let's see. So the library is a place where all the different agents can share their smart plans if they feel like it's one that's really working well for them. You can share your own. So if you had your own over here, you could go to published and you can publish your own if you've got one that you want to share with the rest of Keller Williams. I'm going to see what other people have been using. You can go up here to library. You'll see anything that anyone else has published and a bunch of ones that are from KW themselves. So you can always see the different ratings up here, how many steps, the duration, how people have rated it, how many people have downloaded it over here. So you can see how popular and how satisfied people were with all of it. The one I want to highlight is the birthday one. Reason being is there's no way to put someone on a birthday smart plan more easy than this. And the drawback is you can't customize it maybe as well as a birthday plan that maybe you would design. So there is no trigger for someone to be added to a smart plan relative to their birthday, the date on their contacts list. You can put someone on a 1-year smart plan, stagger it, have it start on their birthday so it loops back around on their birthday or something like that. But that's going to take a lot of maintenance. You'd have to do it to each contact that you put on that smart plan and look at that date and add them that way. I think sometime out, we're going to be able to take more control over this, but for now, to satisfy it, they've got this birthday plan that's kind of hardwired into command. And the ones from Keller Williams are the only ones that work for this. So this one from Lindsay Morton, it may or may not work right, or it may have, that sort of manual aspect to it. So definitely look for the KW if you're going to do a birthday plan or anything yearly like that, like the home anniversary plan or anything like that. So what it does instead is, if we look at these steps, you'll notice that it's not a 365-day plan, which is confusing. So I went to our regional tech trainer and I asked her, like, what's the deal? What if this doesn't work? You can't send someone a birthday wish every 6 days. What it does is it looks for the person's birthday in your contacts list. And when it looks at your whole list, and any birthdays that are 6 days out will activate on this plan. And that's how it sees it coming, and then it activates and puts them through the 6-day smart plan, and then it ends. And then every day it's just checking your list for anyone who's got, in this case, a birthday that's 6 days away. So it's not a 1-year loop thing. It's looking for that, time condition, which is why these work. But it's also why other ones don't work, because you can't create a plan that does that yourself yet. So just be aware of that. Use your home anniversary plan that's from KW. Use the birthday plan that's from KW. Put people on it, and it'll work. If you're bringing in a smart plan from any old thing, just look for one that's popular. Marty Miller is someone we all kind of know and trust. You can look at the steps. You can get the idea by hitting view steps. And if you kind of like it, or if someone recommended it, you're going to go for it. Click add smart plan. And we'll just download it. If you already have it, it'll give you an error because you can only download one version of a smart plan, and then you can copy it and modify it from there. But if you go back to your smart plans, you'll be able to see it in your library. Pardon me. Where did it go? I don't know. I probably should have memorized the name of it. Let's take a look here. It's probably this one. So the cool thing about this is that it's already put together. Someone's already put the thought into it. They've thought, this structure was working well for them. Set delay of 10 days between tasks, they felt like it was working for them. So they've taken that sort of thought. And so if you're a little bit anxious about putting together your own plan, this is a good way to kind of like get started. And then you can go in here, and if you don't like a certain step, you can remove it. You are expected to like change the language, and this is a task here. So that's something that would go to your task list. What do we have here? Another task, text messages. So they're already filled out, but you can go and change all of this stuff. If this doesn't sound like you, then make it sound like you, so that this sounds more genuine. It's who you are. You'll notice that these have these things in here called merge fields, which I think are pretty cool. You'll find it with this little like F symbol, and the different moving parts of smart plans have different options for it. So a text has these ones. I think the email is the one that has the most. And what a merge field does is it looks for information unique to whatever. So in this case, contact first name. If you've got 3 people on a smart plan and they receive a text message that says contact first name, each person is going to see their own name in that field. This is contact first name. That's the idea. So same thing with last name or their email. Look for contact phone, contact birthday, whatever it's going to be. Agent first name, agent last name will be yourself. If you are, working on your own, that's sort of like, well, I just type in my own name. It's so you can give it, I guess, if you can publish it, then your own name goes there. So that's definitely powerful. But it's also powerful on teams. If you're on a team, the agent's first and last name, whomever it is that has been assigned to that contact when that text message goes out, is what name that person will see. So whoever's been assigned to that is how that would work. The team name, if you got it. Your KW app link, we're going to learn about the consumer app on Friday. And it's important that if someone's going to use that app, if you're going to use that app, that the person that's working with it is using your version of it, because your app has your picture, your phone number, your information on it. And that's also directly connected to your command account. So when they do home searches and things, you'll see them on your contacts list. You'll see what they've been searching on it, and you can interact with it. You can send them also houses that you think that maybe they're interested in. You can communicate that way, but it won't work if they don't have your command app link. So that link is one way to get it to people. We'll talk about more ways to share that out on Friday. So let's see, where are we? Talked about triggers. Oh, right. So the contact trigger, when you add it to a smart plan, like I said before, it doesn't automatically bring people in. It'll look for new instances of it and add it to it. When you take a smart plan trigger away, it does not remove anyone that's been added to your plan. So if I, put cat lovers on here and I added over the next course of a week, 10 people that tag cat lover, and then I deleted the tag out of my system and remove that trigger event, anytime else I add cat lover to my database, it won't go to this one because I've taken the trigger event away. But all of the people that have been added to it will stay there until I take them off. So make sure that you're aware that just taking off the trigger doesn't remove people from it. It doesn't add people to it directly to, unless, of course, the condition of someone is already there. We already talked about it. I don't want to get confused. Let's see. If you edit the tag in your command settings, the tag trigger will update. So if you go into your command settings and you're looking at all of only your tags in the little menu that manages just the tags part of tags, if you change cat lover to dog lover, the tag trigger will change to dog lover, and everyone else on your contacts list who had that tag cat lover will change to dog lover, and everything will move forward as you would expect. Publishing a smart plan to the shared library will remove all tag triggers from the smart plan because everybody has different tags. Must add, we talked about that. Talked about merge fields. I think we kind of talked about a lot of it. Let's see if there's anything else I want to talk about. I think that's about what I got. I know that Jen, the person who was teaching all of these courses before me, sort of slid me some of her favorite smart plans that I steal and share with everybody every class. So I'll just put this up here. If you're watching the recording, you can just pause it and see some of this stuff. But these are the ones that she felt were powerful for her. She's an agent using these. So take that for a second. And I can pause here and say, hey, Christy, if you've got any questions, or is there anything else I can go into for you today?
No questions, tons of good information. Now I gotta go in and set all this up.
Oh, I couldn't hear you for a second. It sort of just cut in. Seemed like halfway you were saying.
I said no questions. Totally lots of information. Now I just have to go implement it and get it started and everything set up.
Yeah, it's a lot. I like the merge fields, and I like the add to smart plan stuff. I feel like it gives a lot of just like you can really get creative with all those moving parts. I feel like so.
Yes, absolutely. And there's lots of resources. Like, oh my goodness, and just getting it all in place and turned on and set up and automated so that it helps me have more leverage.
Yeah, that's definitely the best way to think about it. So you front load it, get all the work done in the front end, and then it's just easy button after that.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Well, thank you so much for teaching. I do appreciate it. And I know I'm the only one in attendance, so maybe hopefully everyone else will play it back and listen.
And we have Deanna here too. She's sitting with us in the room. So
oh, hi Deanna.
So yeah, it's just nice to have company.
Can she hear me?
I think she can. It depends. I don't know if that mic's picking you up or not. We're still figuring that out.
Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yes, I got you, sweetie.
Oh, cool.
Good.
Sweet.
It's working.
All right, that's good
I'm
news.
glad I can provide that, help.
Yeah, we'll probably end up getting another one of those, I bet, at least. But all right, well, thanks everybody. I'm gonna end the record, and I'll see whoever's with me tomorrow.
Okay, great. Have a good afternoon.
You as well.